Good morning, everyone. We got another day working back on the Miata. So, what we're gonna do today, I got a couple of friends coming over. We're gonna try to get some work on the engine bay, but we basically want to remove all of the rest of the wiring harness and any other wires, brake lines, and everything, so that we can wheel this car out, give it a nice pressure wash, bring it back in, and then we'll be able to go ahead and start sanding, grinding down some of the rust, and painting the engine bay. So let me shoot you over to the engine bay and show you exactly what I'm talking about. So here in the engine bay, we got most of the things out. The engine is out, and like I said in my other video, they started to paint it over here, and it looks like they just kind of touched up some paints in some random spots. You can see it looking over here, whatever. But I just want to take everything out of here. We're gonna remove the bumper and all of that, and we want to basically have this as an empty shell so that we can repaint this and bring this Miata back to life. So let me put you guys on the tripod. I'm probably going to start with this side over here just to try to figure out what is all going on, and then we'll go from there. So my buddy Matthew came through. We're about to go ahead and start taking off this bumper because he has a personal issue with this bumper and wants to destroy it. So we're gonna go ahead and take off the bumpers, probably the side skirts as well as the rear bumper. While we're at it, we need to take off these fenders as well, so we can the whole thing. So back to the time lapse we go. Yeah, it's a good angle right there.
Am I good?
Yeah.
Ta-da!
Yeah. What's up, everyone? Back working on the Miata this morning. So last night, me and my friends came and removed a lot of stuff from the engine bay. I think we removed pretty much everything. We left a couple of wires as well as the brake booster, and just kind of wrapped those. We pushed the car out and kind of washed it, and now I'm going to spend a little bit more time kind of scrubbing off some of the old paint and going through there. So let me show you the engine bay and show you what we're working with. Here's the exhaust that we pulled from the Miata. We decided to just pull the whole exhaust as one. As you see, the bolts are rusted, as just about every exhaust is. Here's some more extra parts and one of the fender over here that we're just kind of keeping out of the way while I paint. So here in the engine bay, this whole area was kind of black and red. The car is a factory red car, as you see in some of these bits here and here. But what I've been doing is just spraying it down with degreaser. It's pretty strong degreaser, so it's kind of stripping up some of the paint. I also have a wire brush that I'm just taking up some of the old paint. I'll take up all the paint there so I can come back in here and repaint this all just one coat. Not one coat, but just all black. It'll be a couple of coats actually. So I'm looking at these areas over here, mainly focusing on the front section right here. Once I start getting to the back areas over there, I will probably have to remove some of these brake lines just to make sure that I get the best paint possible. It seems like the people who did this before kind of just painted over the brake lines, but they also didn't use high quality paint, so it started chipping away, as you see here. So let me go ahead and spray this down some more. I'll let this sit for a little while. The 340 needs a wash too. I haven't washed it in a little while, and I also got a new foam cannon, so I'll be washing the 340 while we let this kind of sit and soak. We'll come back over here and scrub this down and then go from there. begins. Laying down some of this primer. I got some high heat primer right here. I scraped off a tiny bit of the rust, but I'm really not stressing it too much. I really just want this engine bay to be one color. So I got this, and then I bought caliper paint. No, most of the time the engine won't get to, see if we can focus, 900 degrees. But this is all that good old Hopper Freight had for right now. So I said I'd rather use this because at least it'll stop flaking and things like that. So we'll see. I'll let you guys know how it turns out. Me and the wife gonna go ahead and knock this out, at least get in all these corners and try to do as best as here. So here's where we're probably gonna call it for today. I hit the engine bay with just one light coat of primer. This one is rated to 2,000 degrees. The engine bay won't get that hot unless there's a little fire under here or something, but I just wanted to go ahead and do that. So it isn't perfect, as you see. There's still some spots that I didn't just grind down or whatever, but at the end of the day, this is just going to be a street car slash track car. This is going to be far from a show car, especially with 229,000 miles on the chassis. This just isn't worth it to go too crazy. I just wanted the engine bay to at least be one solid color, as you see kind of here in this well right here, the windshield wiper well. I mean, we had like tricolor, so it's like white, red, and black. Yeah, so like I said, I just want this to be just one, just general color. So like I said, it's not gonna be picture perfect, but at least the whole engine bay will be black and we'll be able to go from there. So thank you all for watching. I guess this would be episode 2 or 3. Please like and subscribe and look out for more content.